What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Full Throttle Auto, and today's video we're focusing on the Honda Accord again. This is specifically the 9th gen Honda Accord, and today we're going to be doing the oil change on it. Now this particular oil change is going to be based around the 4-cylinder engine, the K24 2.4 liter from Honda. This is from the 2013 to the 2017 Honda Accord with that engine. Now it's very possible that the previous generation used the same engine and it could apply to it. I'm not 100% certain on that. So for this specific video, it's from 2013 to 2017 4-cylinder K24 2.4 liter. That's a lot. That's a lot in one sentence. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the tools that you're going to need for the job. All right, so for the tools, it's pretty simple. Of course, you're going to need your oil pan. I have a multi-set of sockets and ratchets, but to be a little bit more specific than that, you're just going to need your 3/8 ratchet with a 17mm socket. Simple as that. As for the other tools for the actual oil change, I have 3 different kinds of oil filter removal tools. This one will damage the old oil filter, but if you're replacing it, that doesn't matter. So this one has worked very well for me. This one here is a new one. It's like a strap style. I haven't gotten this to work well yet for me, so I cannot say I recommend it, but I'm sure it works well on certain vehicles. And this particular one is new. This one actually uses the ratchet and essentially is just to remove. You can't use this to put on. You shouldn't use any of these tools to put on. Let's get that out of the way. The oil filter should be put on by hand. This particular tool uses the ratchet and helps take off. So I'm going to try this one out today. I just got it. Here's the name of it. It's the adjustable oil filter wrench. And yeah, this works with a 3/8 inch ratchet. It spins out filters that are 2.5 to 3 7/8 inch. And it says fits foreign domestic auto. No, yeah, obviously. So that's for that. And of course, you're going to need your funnel. And for the oil that you use on these cars, it's 0W20. I use full synthetic, advanced full synthetic. Now this says 15,000 miles of guaranteed protection. I don't run my car at 15,000 miles. I change it at about 30% as the indicator light shows up. These cars have an indicator of oil life. I do it every 30%. For me, I do change the oil filter every time. That is just me. You don't have to. The manual says you don't have to, but you do. And then, of course, the oil filter that you're going to need for this car is the M1 110 or the M1 110A. The 110A is the extended performance that's supposed to be changed only once a year with the once-a-year oil. I don't do that, but I just pick up the oil filter regardless. It's cheap. It's the same price. If you go to Walmart, I picked these up at Walmart. It's the cheapest place I can find these, and they just carry the 110A. They don't carry the regular 110, which is perfectly fine. That's still going to work even if you're not changing it every once a year, or if you're doing it every other oil change, that'll work just fine. So that's what you're going to need for the oil change itself. And then lastly, before I forget, you're going to need, of course, jacks and jack stands or a ramp system. Make sure to chuck the back wheels, and yeah, and get the car up on the jack, and then we're going to go from there. Now, in getting to do the oil change, the first thing I like to do is get the hood up and then unscrew the actual oil cap, so that way it provides easier flow when draining it. Now what you're going to want to go ahead and do is get under the car and take off the oil drain bolt. Now I do want to highly recommend not using an impact gun. This will ruin your oil pan and the actual threads, and if you do that, you're 100% going to have to get a new oil pan. Once you take off the bolt very carefully so you don't get it all over your hands, go ahead and allow it to fully drain out to basically where you see drips. Once that's done draining and you do see the drips, go ahead and put the bolt back on and wipe the surface down, and of course tighten it just enough that it's snug. Now there is a torque
setting that you can do if you want to torque the bolt down. I don't, I just do it by feel. The tightening torque spec on the bolt is 30 foot-pounds. And it is recommended to replace the washer that is on the drain bolt. Now that you have the drain bolt back on, go ahead and move the oil pan by the oil filter, and we're going to go ahead and take out the oil filter. Now this is where the removal tool comes in handy. Oil filters should be hard to take off by hand, so you are going to use the actual tool. In this case, as I mentioned, I am using the new tool that I got. Now I did forget to mention, you are going to want to maybe grab some paper towels. Because of where the oil filter is set, I like to put the paper towel underneath, so that way the oil gets collected by the paper towel instead of going all over the subframe and all the parts underneath it. Once you go ahead and take off the oil filter, let that drain real quick. This should be pretty fast. And then of course wipe down the surface and make sure the gasket from the oil filter is not left on the surface of where the filter goes. Once you do that and the surface is clean, you're going to go ahead and take the new oil filter, and you can go ahead and take new or old oil and just put a little bit on your finger and put it around the seal or around the gasket on the new filter. The reason you want to do this is just to help the oil filter seal really good to the engine. And as mentioned in the beginning of the video, go ahead and put the new oil filter on and use your hand. Basically, I would recommend when you're tightening the oil filter, tighten it to the point where it feels like it's taking a lot to do it by hand. Once that's done, we're of course going to go back up and we're going to go start pouring the oil in. Now the manual recommends when filling in to use 4.4 US quarts for the 2.4 liter, and if you're curious, I know this is for the 4-cylinder, but for the 6 it's 4.5. Once that's done, go ahead and get to your car, turn it on and let the oil circulate. Make sure there is no oil light on the dash. If you don't see the oil light on, go ahead and just let that run for about 30 seconds to a minute. If you do shut it down, you did something wrong. Once you let that run for about 30 seconds to a minute, go ahead and go back to the front of the car and check the dipstick to make sure the level is good. Once you verify that the oil level is good, go ahead and go back into the car. You're going to go ahead and reset the maintenance minder. Now to reset the minder is very easy. What you're going to do is press and hold the select/reset knob here to the right. You're going to keep holding it until you see it flash. Once you see it flash, go ahead and let go, and then press and hold again. Keep holding it down until you see it fully reset. Once reset, you're all done. And of course, don't forget to recycle the oil.
And that's it for the oil change. Very, very easy thing to do. No reason to take it to a shop and pay somebody to do it. It's easy, and if you're one of those people that gets satisfaction from doing something yourself, this is one of the best ways of doing it. It's such a simple job. I do want to mention, this is probably my favorite tool I've used for filter removal. I am super excited that I ordered this, and I will definitely put it in the description below if you want to pick one up. So far, my favorite works very well. It's got plenty of adjustability, and it definitely fits easily over the Honda one. I'm not sure, depending on what vehicle you had, you can get a bigger version, but for this particular one, it fits. It had, I think, about that much crank for the filter. So I definitely recommend it. You can't go wrong. And that's really it for this video. If you guys have any questions, please do leave them in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike, let me know why. And then make sure also to subscribe if you did enjoy it. And of course, plenty more videos to come. If I didn't mention it in the beginning of the video, I did the oil change, 1, because it's time to do it, but 2, because I'm doing a track day. So stay tuned for the track day video with this car. I know I said in the last video it's a Honda Accord, but I'm still going to be on the track, so that's all that matters. Alright guys, that's it. Once again, I'll see you in the next one.